I've talked to a few of them. I've talked to a couple wait staff. I've talked to a couple of the bellhops, trying to create, just plant the seeds. Hey, when they're mean to you guys and when they treat you like dog poop, you're going to want to talk about it. So, hey, I'm going to be right down the road. Come talk to me, and we can get this stuff out because, hey, it's your world too, and you can be a sheep. We were up at the ruins of this Castle Wolfstein, and there's some sheep right around. We were just, and it was funny. We went to go take pictures of the sheep, and one of them ran off, and the other ones who were eating just immediately ran off and followed the sheep. I mean, sheep or sheep. Do you want to be a sheep? Or do you want to be free? So that's what we're going to be trying to prove. It is, yeah. and definitely, I saw some amazing things here with, their Paragita March the other day on Monday. Several thousand people showed up for that, and that was interesting. But it was very subdued. It was very quiet. It was very somber. It was very polite. Germans seem to be like that. They're very orderly. They're very polite. But they're pissed. But I don't know if what they're doing now is really being efficient. They need to go after these politicians, the ones that are creating these types of policies that are bringing in migrants, and then stop that at the source instead of just, we're going to march around with flags every Monday, because they've been doing it and it's not stopping. The only reason it's stopping now is because every country around Germany has closed its borders because they see the problem. Mm-hmm. Germany is going, hey, come on in, we'll still find a place for you.
Well, not so much Germany as it is Angela Merkel, and so we're going to see what happens. Brexit is their big hope, I think. Well, we'll find out tomorrow, Rob, if exit will be possible for you, or if you're going to find out finally what Arbeit macht frei means, okay?
Exactly. Hey, thanks for this. Is Rob Dew live from Dresden, Germany for InfoWars.com.
Thank you, Rob. Great talking to you. Let's go to our reporter, Joe Biggs, who is live in California, from Germany to California. Joe.
Hey there, David. This is Joe Biggs with InfoWars.com. Now I'm standing outside of the Bernie Sanders rally that will be taking place in less than an hour and a half. We're actually in Santa Monica. And if you look over here, you can see a line that's already starting to form around here. It's not that many people out here yet, but there's still about an hour and a half to go. It's a smaller venue, much like we saw with Hillary Clinton's rally yesterday. What we're going to do here in a little bit is go around and talk to people, ask them if they feel like they're being cheated, what they think about Hillary Clinton. And I want to hear some of these people Bernie Sanders impersonations. It should be pretty interesting.
Sure. You're going to go talk to them now while we're live here and ask them how they feel about this? Because, the AP came out and told everybody that she had exactly the number of delegates that she needed. Not one less, not one more, but exactly the number needed. So here was the message to all those voters in California. Just stay home. It's over, folks. That's what they were telling them, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty interesting that they're going to come out and just call it for them. I mean, you know how the Hillary Clinton campaign has been, how the Clintons are in general. Yeah. They're always trying to use these Jedi mind tricks on people to make them think that they've got something or they've won something, but it's simply not there yet. I mean, there's a lot of people in California and across the country who show up to his rallies in far larger numbers than hers at all. I mean, it's just completely ridiculous. And like with the video we talked about yesterday, where I showed you the larger stadium beside the smaller one, these are the kind of tricks they play. So I don't see it. I don't think it's going to go down without a fight. Today is going to be very interesting to see how it turns out.
Well, the thing I'm noticing, Joe, as I'm looking at this crowd, I've been to many of these rallies as you have. When you go to a Trump rally, there are Bernie Sanders supporters attacking the Trump people. When I look at this Bernie Sanders rally, I don't see anybody attacking these Bernie Sanders supporters.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, just like with yesterday as well, there were maybe 10 to 12 of us standing outside. There were Trump supporters outside of this Hillary Clinton event. And I even walked up to the police officer and said, hey, you guys, you're welcome for us not rioting. Sorry, we don't do that. All the hooligans are inside the Clinton rally right now. So most people, they're going to be out doing something bad or in one of these rallies. It's just interesting when you see that, how we can go out here and we can come to one of these rallies. We can have an intelligent conversation with these people, even though we don't agree on all the subjects. We can still sit down, come together, and understand that we do have one thing in common, that we don't want Hillary Clinton in the White House. So that is pretty interesting within itself.
As we look at what's going on, the Bernie supporters not happy with the process, not happy with the superdelegates. I think one of the things that was very key was the fact that as we looked at the number of delegates that were allocated based on voting, this is ignoring the superdelegates for a moment, she had 1,812 and he had 1,521. So there's about 290 separating them. There's really pretty close. And so I think the hope of Bernie Sanders and his supporters was that with a really strong finish in California, which has 475 delegates that are allocated by the voting. With him only 290 behind, if he got 475, a majority of those did well in New Jersey and these other states, that he could pull ahead of her and have a plurality of delegates based on the actual election, and then try to use that to get the superdelegates to switch. But now what has happened with them coming out and saying that it was all over, that Hillary had won it, I'm sure it didn't help him at all. Right now we're looking at Hillary Clinton in New Jersey having 61% and Bernie Sanders having 38%. So that's not helping him there in New Jersey. So it'd be interesting to talk to the people in California, ask them what they think about that early pronouncement from the AP, ask them if they think Bernie's going to get out, why or why not, and what they think about this whole superdelegate process.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's interesting, too, to see the amount of people that are more passionate for him. I mean, you can't walk up and down the street. Like, I've got a guy that's got a very offensive shirt on right behind me, you know, that that has Hillary's face on it. And yet everyone comes up and cheers. And, you know, and the guy that's holding my camera right now, Alonzo, he's got a Hillary for Prison t-shirt. We're walking up and down Venice Beach, and people are cheering that on. No one likes her. I don't understand how this is even happening like that. How can she even be here? You know, but there are those hardcore Hillary fans out there that, you know, they live by that whole what difference does it make? What difference does it make about Benghazi or the emails or any of the other scandals that she's been involved in, or her husband or her covering up for it? You know, that's one thing, like I said, that both sides here can come to an agreement on, is that she doesn't belong there. She belongs in, you know, in prison, in San Quentin, Clinton for San Quentin.
Well, you know, this is what it's about, Joe. I saw one of the headlines that said, Hillary Clinton is about to become the first female nominee for president. And I looked at that and I said to my wife, women can do better than that. I don't want to, if I was a woman, I would not be happy about that. I would not want to be represented as part of a group where she is the representative of that. Certainly women can do better than having Hillary Clinton be their first female candidate for president.
But we shouldn't even be talking about having a female president that represents women. She is above that then. You know, this should be a presidential candidate who represents all American people. And yet I watched her speech earlier today, and all she's talking about, you know, this is going to be a historic day. I'm going to be the first female president, blah, 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 blah. Like, come on. It has nothing to do with your gender. We want someone who's going to do the job right. I'm ready for a female president. I don't mind, but I do not think that she is the right person for that. And all you have to do is look at her track record to figure that out.
And she's not the right person because she makes it about being a female. That's precisely what you're saying there. And that's what we've seen in terms of this discussion about what should be a discussion about La Raza, but is being spun by the Republicans and the establishment media and the Democrats as Donald Trump's racism. No, what we saw when we mentioned this earlier, Drudge had a flashback to when Sotomayor was coming in as a Supreme Court justice, and she said, no, I'm going to, as a wise Latina, I am going to make a different decision than a white male would, and that's a better thing. So she's selling the fact that she is Hispanic, that she's female, whatever, and that's what Hillary is about. It's not like, I'm going to be the best president, I'm going to do what's in the best interest of America, I'm going to represent all people. No, it's simply about women. And notice the way Hillary responded to all these attacks on Donald Trump and this judge's bias. She said, well, the next thing he's going to be coming after women. I mean, again, it's all about women.
They keep trying to sell this narrative, because I can't remember, who was it that said that there's a special place in hell for women who don't support each other?
Yeah, that's right. That was that Gloria Steinem or Barbara Boxer? When it was one of the.
Was it Nancy Pelosi?
I can't remember.
One of those.
That's a trivia question of the night. Albright. Okay, somebody had it.
All right, there we go.
There you go.
It was one of those establishment women feminists. So, yeah, but that's true. Yeah, special place in hell for them.
I mean,
and of course, it was a problem when they killed children.
She is the queen of pandering. You know, depending on what part of the country she's in, she changes her accent. You know, she's on a hip-hop radio show, and she goes, you know, they ask her what she carries around in a purse. She goes, oh, I carry hot sauce. So I'm like, come on.
That was ridiculous.
You're ridiculous. Right? I love women. Like, oh, yeah, you love women. That's why you're guarding Bill from all the rape allegations he's got. Yeah, you really care about women. You're giving money to Saudi Arabia or taking money to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, you care about women. Come on. Let's be real here.
Yeah, she's a total fraud. Well, Joe, so you'll be checking back in with us as you talk to the people they're assembling to hear Bernie Sanders tonight in California. Is that right?
Yes, I will be checking back in with Marcos and finding out whenever you guys are ready to have me on.
Okay.
I'm going to go through and start talking to some of these people, and then eventually, hopefully, we can try and get inside as well.
All right. Thank you very much. That's Joe Biggs in California. And we also have our other reporter in California, Leanne McAdoo, is ready to join us. Leanne.
Hi, David. Yes, as a woman, I have to agree with you there. I think we can do a lot better than Hillary Clinton.
Oh, yeah.
Why did she have to be our first female president? And she's under an FBI investigation. She's got a trail of dead following behind her. She covers up her husband's rape allegations. She's not for women. I mean, I agree. We can do better.
Yeah, it absolutely is amazing. But I know you have not heard what Donald Trump did. I think he gave, when we cut in, heard some of the best of his speech. The portion that I heard was the best speech that I've heard Donald Trump give, because he said, I'm not going to give up on this. I'm not going to compromise on these integrity issues. And he said, because I'm in this for the country. You know what? If he's going to compromise on this issue, just so that he can do it for political gain, then he's going to compromise on every issue that comes down the line. And when I heard him say that, and when I heard him put it in those terms, that made me feel a lot better about Donald Trump. I think this is going to be a huge win for him, because people are beginning to understand now that this judge isn't simply somebody who was born in Indiana, as Newt Gingrich and Paul Ryan and these other people are spinning it. This is a guy who self-identifies with La Raza, which is the Hispanic Ku Klux Klan. Let's call them La KKK. That's what they really are, La Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And we can't forget that we've got Hillary Clinton palling around with the two guys whose mom was one of the founding members of La Raza. So they're definitely infiltrating the ranks and getting in there to make some major changes. And what we're seeing here in California, it was in the LA Times today, that they're actually seeing a mass number of Latinos going nonpartisan, and they're not choosing the Democratic or the Republican Party, which just goes to show you that by the left flooding the country with people who don't have any allegiance, thinking that they're going to do that, and these people are going to vote Democrat because they're going to want the welfare state. They made a big mistake there, because when those people do get their opportunity, their chance, their allegiance is to themselves, not to this country.
Well, let's hope that's true. I think where they're going to have the most success in creating minions, however, is through the university system. And that's whether they're coming in from a foreign country or whether they're native-born Americans whose parents were American. They know that if they can get them through that university system, then they're theirs. If they keep them from kindergarten through graduate school, forget it. These people aren't going to escape that mind trap that they've laid for them. And that's why Hillary and Bernie are pushing so hard to make sure that it's free tuition. But it's going to be the downfall of the country. We can't have open borders and free tuition for anybody who wants to come here and study in the language of their choice. It's absolute insanity. I've never heard anything more detached from reality. But I want to ask you, because we've got Richard Reeves on the line to talk to us from New Jersey. It looks like you're standing in front of a school. Is that a polling place there that you are at?
Yeah, we've been through several polling locations today, and we did actually end up finding a place where Hillary Clinton voters are. We're here in West Hollywood. It's a super liberal part of Hollywood, and it was kind of even between her and Bernie. Didn't get anyone that was voting for Trump out of here, although we did have a few people that kind of shirked away and didn't want to admit who they voted for, and we could kind of look
identify them as Trump supporters.
They're Trumpers because they're afraid.
Yeah.
And even with people who were voting for Bernie or Hillary, even they're a little bit ashamed, embarrassed to admit. I just think everyone's a little disappointed in our first female president that they are forcing upon us.
So did you get anybody to, you said you did get some people to admit that they voted for Hillary?
Yeah, we took an anonymous poll here kind of off camera. We do have a few people that we got earlier today, but we just didn't want to scare them right out of the polling location. But we will, once I cut out with you, we're going to upload a few reports. But yeah, they did admit there were big-time Hillary supporters, and a lot of people very disappointed in the fact that they're here in California and their votes don't actually count, because they were told this morning that Hillary is in.
See, that's the key thing. Yep. That's the key thing for the Bernie people. Did you mention that to the Bernie people? Did they? Were they the ones that were really upset about that?
They were very upset about it, but they came anyway, and people are still expecting and hoping for some sort of an upset to say, you know what, maybe he will win here, and maybe he will be able to prove to those superdelegates that he might have a shot, and perhaps they can come over to the other side. But that would be truly historical, and I don't see it happening. But it's not really, that really wasn't his agenda. I don't think Bernie ever planned on becoming president. He just wanted to push the party even further to the left, and I think he's succeeded in doing that.
Well, I think he's going to succeed at the convention. He's going to come into that convention from a position of strength, and she's going to feel whether she offers him the vice presidency or whatever else. He is going to dictate a lot of terms